am lying in a hospital bed right now. Every breath feels like a knife twisting between my ribs. 3 of them are broken. My mother is standing beside me, whispering the same words over and over. Stay quiet. He has a future. But I cannot stay quiet anymore. Because tonight a doctor looked at my bruises. She looked at my scars. She looked straight into my eyes. And for the first time in my life, someone actually saw me. Before I begin this story, let me know where you are watching from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. If you have ever felt invisible in your own family, if you have ever been told that your pain did not matter, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Stay with me through this journey, because what happened next changed everything I thought I knew about family, about silence, and about finding the courage to speak. I grew up in a small town in Ohio. The kind of place where everyone knows your name, where Friday nights revolve around high school football games, and where families are supposed to stick together no matter what. At least that is what I always believed. My father worked at the local manufacturing plant. He was a quiet man with calloused hands and a gentle smile. He would come home smelling like machine oil and sweat, but he always had time to toss a ball with me in the backyard or help me with my homework. I was 12 years old when he died. A machine malfunction at the plant. They said it was instant. They said he did not suffer. But I suffered. We all did. After the funeral, everything changed. My mother had to take on 2 jobs just to keep us afloat. During the day, she worked as a cashier at the grocery store downtown. At night, she cleaned offices until well past midnight. I barely saw her anymore. And when I did, her eyes were always tired, her shoulders always slumped with exhaustion. My brother Marcus was 4 years older than me. Before our father died, Marcus was my hero. He taught me how to ride a bike when I was 6. He walked me to school every morning and made sure no one picked on me. When bullies tried to take my lunch money in 5th grade, Marcus showed up and scared them off with just a look. I thought he would always protect me. But grief does strange things to people, and the pressure my mother placed on Marcus did even stranger things. She started telling him that he was the man of the house now, that he had to be strong for all of us, that his future was our only hope. Marcus was already a talented football player, and scouts from several universities had started noticing him. My mother saw this as our ticket out of poverty, out of this small town, out of the shadow my father left behind. I watched my brother change slowly at first. He became more irritable. He snapped at small things. He stopped playing catch with me in the backyard. I told myself it was just stress. I told myself he was dealing with losing our father in his own way. I told myself things would get better. The first time Marcus hit me, I was 15 years old. It was a Tuesday evening in October. I was walking through the living room carrying a glass of water when I tripped over my own feet. The water spilled all over the coffee table, soaking the essay Marcus had been working on for his English class. He did not yell at first. He just stared at the ruined papers, his jaw tightening. Then his hand flew across my face so fast I did not even see it coming. The slap sent me stumbling backward. I hit the wall and slid down to the floor, my cheek burning and my ears ringing. My mother was in the kitchen. She must have heard the commotion because she appeared in the doorway seconds later. I looked up at her, my hand pressed against my throbbing cheek, waiting for her to say something. Waiting for her to protect me. She looked at Marcus. She looked at me. And then she said 5 words that I will never forget. Do not bother your brother. That was it. No apology. No concern. No comfort. She turned around and went back to the kitchen as if nothing had happened. Marcus went upstairs to reprint his essay, and I sat on the floor alone trying to understand what had just happened. I told myself it was a one-time thing. I told myself Marcus was just stressed about his essay. I told myself my mother was just tired. I told myself everything would be okay. I was wrong. After that first incident, something shifted in our house. It was like Marcus realized there would be no consequences for hurting me. And once he realized that the violence became more frequent, more calculated, more cruel, he learned to hit me in places where the bruises would not show. My stomach, my back, my thighs. He would wait until my mother was at work, then find any excuse to unleash his anger on me. I forgot to take out the trash. I was too loud while he was studying. I looked at him the wrong way. It did not matter what I did or did not do. Marcus always found a reason. One afternoon, about 6 months after the first slap, I forgot to buy his favorite energy drinks from the store. I had walked 2 miles in the rain to get groceries for the family, but I had missed that one item on the list. When Marcus discovered the drinks were not in the refrigerator, he found me in my room doing homework. He grabbed me by the collar and threw me against the wall. Before I could catch my breath, he punched me in the stomach so hard that I doubled over and fell to my knees. Then he kicked me while I was down his sneaker, connecting with my ribs again and again until I was gasping for air. When he finally stopped, he leaned down and whispered in my ear, "Next time, do not forget." I lay on the floor for what felt like hours, clutching my aching sides, trying to breathe through the pain. When I finally managed to get up, I looked in the mirror and saw the purple bruises already forming across my torso. I put on a loose sweatshirt and went downstairs to finish making dinner before my mother got home. That night, when my mother came back from her shift, I tried to tell her what had happened. I lifted my sweatshirt and showed her the bruises covering my ribs and stomach. I was crying. I was begging her to do something. She looked at the bruises for a long moment. Then she sighed and pulled my sweatshirt back down. "I will talk to your brother," she said. "But you cannot tell anyone about this. People will think badly of our family. They will say I am a bad mother. Is that what you want?" I shook my head, tears streaming down my face. "Good," she said. "Now go to bed, and stop crying. Boys need to be tough." She never talked to Marcus. Nothing changed. The beatings continued. I started avoiding home as much as possible. I stayed at the public library until it closed at 9 every night, pretending to study. I got a part-time job at a pizza place across town, working as many hours as they would give me. Anything to stay away from Marcus. Anything to delay going back to that house. At school, teachers sometimes noticed my bruises. Once my history teacher, Mr. Patterson, pulled me aside after class. He pointed to the fading marks on my forearm and asked if everything was okay at home. I told him I played basketball on the weekends and took a lot of falls. He looked skeptical, but he did not push further. I think part of him did not want to know the truth. It would have meant paperwork, phone calls, complications. It was easier for everyone to believe my lies. At night, lying in my bed, I would stare at the ceiling and wonder what I had done to deserve this. Why did my mother protect Marcus but not me? Why did his future matter more than my safety? Was I really that worthless? The only thing that kept me going was a countdown in my head. Marcus was a senior. In one more year, he would leave for college on his football scholarship. I just had to survive until then. I just had to stay quiet and stay out of his way for 12 more months. Then I would finally be free. I was 16 years old, and I had already learned to measure my life in terms of endurance rather than happiness. The night everything changed started like any other Saturday. My mother left for her overnight shift at the office building downtown around 8 in the evening. She would not be home until at least 2 in the morning. Marcus had been in a dark mood all week. Earlier that month, he had injured his knee during practice. The doctors said he needed surgery. The scouts who had been so interested in him suddenly went quiet. His scholarship offers, the ones my mother had been counting on, started disappearing one by one. That Saturday, he found out that the last university on his list had withdrawn their offer. His football career, the future my mother had sacrificed everything for, was over before it even began. By the time I came home from my shift at the pizza place around 9:30, Marcus had already gone through half a bottle of whiskey he had stolen from a neighbor's garage. I could smell the alcohol the moment I walked through the front door. I tried to slip past the living room and go straight upstairs to my bedroom, but Marcus saw me. "Where do you think you are going?" he slurred from the couch. "Just to my room," I said quietly, not making eye contact. "I have homework." "Homework," he repeated, his voice dripping with contempt. He stood up slowly, swaying slightly. "You think you are so smart, do you not? You think you are better than me?" "No," I said, backing toward the stairs. "I do not think that. I am just going to my room." But Marcus was already moving toward me, his eyes glazed with alcohol and something else, something darker, something that had been building for years. "You know what," he said, grabbing my shirt and yanking me toward him. "Everything was fine before you came along. Dad never would have worked those extra shifts if it was not for you. He would still be alive if you had never been born." "That is not true," I whispered, but my voice was shaking. "It is your fault, Marcus," continued, his grip tightening. "You are bad luck. You are a curse on this family. And now my future is ruined too." The first punch caught me in the jaw. I tasted blood immediately. The second punch hit my cheekbone and I felt something crack. I tried to raise my arms to protect myself, but Marcus was bigger, stronger, faster. He threw me to the ground and started kicking me. His foot connected with my ribs over and over each impact, sending shock waves of agony through my entire body. I heard a sickening crack and felt something give way inside my chest. The pain was unlike anything I had ever experienced. I could not breathe. I could not scream. I could not do anything but curl into a ball and pray for it to stop. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Marcus stepped back. He looked down at me with disgust in his eyes. "Pathetic," he muttered. Then he walked over to the couch, collapsed onto it, and passed out within minutes. I lay on the floor of the living room, unable to move. Every breath was agony. Something was seriously wrong with my ribs. I could feel bones grinding against each other when I tried to inhale. Black spots danced at the edges of my vision. I do not know how long I lay there.